Welcome to this cross-stitched Christmas card tutorial. I'm Susan Filippelli, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm going to be making a card today using the cross-stitched Christmas set from Stampin' Up! And I'm using Real Red ink, Old Olive, Shaded Spruce, Versamark, and this is the card that I'm making. It's a Christmas tree stamp set. It's a triple process, so you've got to stamp 3 times in order to get the Christmas tree. But I'm going to be featuring Stampin' Up's Stamparatus with this card. And this makes the double or triple process stamps a piece of cake. As you can see, the Stamparatus comes with 2 plates, each of them reversible, and the stamping mat and the 2 magnets, so that I'm able to place my stamps and then I can do as many cards as I want. So you can see that I put some washi tape on here. That's where I want my card to be. And so I'm inking up my first background sort of cross stitch with my Old Olive ink. And you can see I can come down there and I'm pressing it real good and getting a good ink. Now, if for any reason I hadn't gotten a good impression, I can just ink it up again and stamp it again because it doesn't move. And that's the great thing about the Stamparatus. You can go over it if you need to. Now I come in with my second layer, which I'm using the Shaded Spruce, and you'll really see that once I put this on, it gives the Christmas tree a lot of depth, which already it looks lovely. Now I'm going to reverse the first plate, and these are the ornaments. So I'm going to use a combination of Versamark ink and Real Red. And the reason I'm going to do this is because I want my Christmas ornaments to sparkle a little bit. So we're gonna do something to make them sparkle. Now you can just ink it up with Real Red or any color you want, or you could do gold or silver embossing powder to get a little sparkle. But I want mine to be red. So I'm inking up with Versamark, and then I'm using the Real Red. And then I'm coming in with my embossing buddy so that I don't get stray, I'm using dazzling diamonds. I don't get the stray dazzling diamonds anywhere. So I'm coming in, and now you can see I've got, I just did it with the Versamark. Now this is the beauty of the Stamparatus. Now I'm going over it with Real Red, and you can see I kind of got the plate messy. Really don't have to clean this up, but I just like to. So now I'm going to come in, and it stamps right over where I put the Versamark with the Real Red ink. All right, so that makes my red ornaments really, really sticky. And now as I come in with my dazzling diamonds, they're really going to be able to stick for that. So I'm pulling it out of the Stamparatus right now, and now I'm going to come in. Here's the dazzling diamonds. This is a great, it's not glitter. I mean, it sort of is like glitter, but it looks like really dazzling diamonds. This is very versatile, and I love it because you can use it with Versamark and ink, and it sort of takes on the color of whatever you want it to take on. So I'm putting it on here, and my red ornaments are sticky because I use the Versamark and the red ink, and it's hard to see, but they really are dazzling. So the sparkle really is giving the ornaments a little pop on the tree. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to warm it up with the heat tool just a bit. I really don't have to do that, but I did warm it up with the heat tool just a little bit, just to help the dazzling diamonds stick. Now I'm going to do a little bit different technique with my sentiment that I'm going to use on the front of the card. So I've got the Joy stamp from the same stamp set. I'm only using one stamp set here. And I'm coming in with Versamark, and then I'm going right over it with my Real Red ink. And this is going to make the ink very, very sticky, more sticky than it would be. So I'll place it and stamp my sentiment on here. Then I'm going to come in, get my ink pads out of the way. Then I'm going to come in with the Heat and Stick powder, and this is another Stampin' Up! Product that will put a sticky, where I've got the ink and the Versamark, it will, I'll put a little heat on it, and it will make it very, very sticky Okay, so that helps the dazzling diamonds, and I'm going to then come back over it with dazzling diamonds. That helps the dazzling diamonds adhere a little better too. I'm just doing the two different ways just to show you two different ways to do this. Again, you don't have to use the glitter. You can just stamp it with real red and it will look just fine. It's Christmas time. I like things to sparkle a little bit at Christmas time, so I wanted my card to have just a little sparkle. Now with the heat and stick, I only want to melt it so it just melts. So I'm not gonna hit it very long. You can sort of see when it turns clear. That's when it's melted. So then I'm going to come back with my dazzling diamonds and go over where the melted heat and stick is. And now my dazzling diamonds is really going to be stuck on here. And now you can see the sparkle. Okay, now you can see. That really gives it a little pop. That really gives it a little glitz. Really gives it just a little Christmas sparkle. I like Christmas sparkle. And I am going to come in and hit it with the heat gun for just a minute, just to help everything sort of meld together. Or I did. I guess I'm not going to hit it with the heat gun. But now I'm going to put the card together. So I've not showed you this, but I cut out my Christmas tree using the stitched shaped, the stitched oval shape and the scalloped of the layering ovals, just to give that a little. So I cut those out, and now I'm going to make a little tail for the sentiment. And you just do that. You can just cut it in the middle and then cut, and it makes a perfect little banner tail. Now, as you can see here, it's a little too long. I'm going to deal with that in just a minute. But for right now, I'm just going to go ahead and put the card together. So I'm going to come in with my snail, and I'm going to stick the Christmas tree to the scalloped oval. That's in real red. And then the background paper I'm using, that lovely plaid paper, is from the Under the Mistletoe designer paper series in the 2018-2019 annual catalog, I believe. I will have a link to my website with all of my materials. I always do a little, or almost always do a little instruction sheet that gives you step-by-step instructions and tells you all the materials that you need. And so there'll be a link down below where you can go find all the materials that I use. So anyway, I'm sticking it on with dimensionals just to give it a little pop off the page, and then coming in my banner, my sentiment banner, and sticking it on with the snail. You can see I'm getting it lined up. All right, now I'm going to come in with my real red cotton ribbon and give it a little embellishment here. So I'm just going to cut a little piece of that, and I'm just going to affix that to the top layer of the card with some Scotch tape. This is going to be on the back of that layer, so it's not going to be seen. So Scotch tape works perfectly, does perfectly well for that. So I'll tape that down. And you can see all of our designer series paper is two-sided, so you can see what's on the other side of the plaid paper, which is great because you get 12 sheets, and so you get 2 sheets of each design. So basically you get 12 designs, which is wonderful. And they're 12 by 12 sheets, so there's plenty of paper. So all right, I've got my real red taped down. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to make a bow. So I'm just going to make my bunny ears. This is the easiest way I have found to make a bow. Make my bunny ears and cross them over. And this will make the prettiest bow. And once you get it crossed over, then you can start pulling the ends to get it the size you want and manipulate it to get it the way you want. Only pull one side at a time, but you can get it the size you want, and then when you get it the size you want, you know, you can pull it tight, and it'll stay. And see, it just makes just a beautiful bow with a very nice knot and a very nice tail. And this actually worked out. I didn't even have to trim the tail on this one. So then I'm going to adhere this with a glue dot. And so I'm looking for my glue dot in the supplies I have next to me. Does this happen to you? I get all my supplies out, and then as I start stamping and using things and throwing them to the side, I start to lose track of everything I have over there, and then something I need I'm having a little trouble finding. So I really start out with everything I need right beside me, but sometimes in the heat of crafting, so to speak, I have to search a little bit. So anyway, there's my bow, and I think that gives it just a nice touch. So there's my card, but I'm not going to affix this, what I call the design layer, yet to my card base, because I actually want to stamp a sentiment in my card base. And I always like to stamp my sentiment in my card base before I affix the design layers. And the reason for that is if I mess this up in any way, shape, or form, I can flip it over, restamp it, and the messed up part will be hidden under my design layer. So, a little pro tip there. Because we all make mistakes, and so those of us, the longer you do this, the more you figure out little tricks like that, because none of us are perfect. We all make mistakes, and you're going to see in a minute I made a mistake by making that sentiment tail a little bit too long, so you're going to see how I fix that in just a minute. We all do it. And the second thing to remember about that is that it's handmade. It's not supposed to be absolutely perfect. So again, just like I did on the front sentiment, I'm inking up my stamp with the Versamark and then the Real Red ink. And this sentiment says, "Enjoy the beauty of the season." And then I'm going to come in also with my heat and stick powder and the Dazzling Diamonds again, like I did on the front sentiment. And you can see on the front sentiment, since it was on Whisper White paper, the powder from the embossing buddy didn't stand out as much as it does on this. But I'll get it off. I've got a brush. I'll get it off. I'm going to let everything heat set a little bit, just dry out a little bit, but then I've got a little brush so that I can come in once everything is dry and everything is set and brush it off, and it will be fine. But anyway, I am hitting this with the heat, and again you can just see how the heat and stick melts, and it gets it a real beautiful sentiment there. The red really comes through after the heat and stick. So now I'm going to come back over it with the Dazzling Diamonds, because again, it's Christmas time. We ought to have a little sparkle, a little magic in Christmas. And so come back over it with the Dazzling Diamonds, and I only want it to stick where I've got the heat and stick. That's why I did that. So I'm not glittering the whole card. And now you can really see the sparkle. And this is the one I am going to come over and hit it with a little more heat, just to make sure everything sticks really well. And then when I come back over it with the brush, I'm not going to be brushing the Dazzling Diamonds off. So you don't need to heat it much, but you can see it darkening up as I'm hitting it with the heat. And that'll help everything just to adhere a little better and make it so we don't get glitter all over everything when the person I send this card to pulls it out of the envelope. And again, you don't have to use glitter. You can stamp it with the Real Red looks good on the shaded spruce, or you could use gold or silver embossing powder. And the great thing about these cards is once you make your first one, then you start figuring out variations on a theme. And in a minute, I'm going to show you all the cards that I've made that sort of have a variation on this theme. And with the Stamparatus, inking up those Christmas trees was a piece of cake. I could just put a card in there, zip, zip, zip each of the 3 plates, put another card in there, zip, zip, zip each of the 3 plates, and it took no time to make 5 or 6 cards with this incredibly beautiful cross-stitched Christmas tree on it. All right, so now I'm coming in with the snail and I'm affixing my design layer to the front of my card. And there it is, all done. It's a beautiful, beautiful Christmas card. Now the tail's really bothering me on the joy, on the sentiment. So now I'm going to come in and I'm just going to go in, and I've got a little bit out of the picture here, but I just cut my main slit a little more, and then I just came in and recut it. Simple as that. No mistake is fatal, and there it is. Now it's perfect. You know, there's more things you can do with that as well. You could take a sponge dauber or a sponge and distress around the edge of that banner. You can see different things I've made. The craft card I made, the one on the front, I took a sponge dauber and crumb cake and just daubed crumb cake on the designer paper series, and that gave it a whole new look. So I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. I urge you to get the cross-stitched Christmas stamp set and make some beautiful, beautiful Christmas cards. And try the Stamparatus. If you don't have a Stamparatus yet, I highly recommend you add that to your arsenal of stamping tools. It really is a great and versatile tool to have. Again, this is Susan, Independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Go to susanscreativeimpressions.com. Click subscribe. Thank you.